The movie opens with a young man named Lucas describing the grim reality of his neighborhood, which is plagued by frequent crimes like murder, sexual assault, and drug dealing. These problems have deeply troubled the local residents, and gangsters dominate the area. Lucas actually works for one of the neighborhood's most notorious gangsters as a drug delivery boy. He knows the city's drug trade inside and out, from delivery boys like him who ride around on bikes to the middlemen who manage operations for a major gang led by Jester, the right-hand man of the top gang leader known as the Big Boss. Lucas tells his customers that the elusive Big Boss is nearly impossible to find, and most people only deal with him through Jester. However, Lucas has direct access to the Big Boss, a man named Rincon. Rincon is known for his ruthlessness and won't hesitate to eliminate anyone who crosses him. At one point, he even had his men torture and then murder a man who betrayed him. Lucas spends his days riding his bike around the neighborhood, delivering Rincon's drug orders. One of his regular customers is Daniel, who isn't an addict, but uses drugs to cope with severe depression caused by his experiences as a soldier in Afghanistan. The horrors of war left deep emotional scars, and Daniel now relies on drugs for relief. The war also left him unable to speak, so he communicates with Lucas through text messages on his phone. Daniel often urges Lucas to leave the gang life behind and live like a normal teenager, focus on school, have fun, but Lucas usually brushes off his advice. The next part of the movie shows Rincon looking out his window and noticing a car parked near his house. He suspects it belongs to FBI agents watching him. He then reminds his sister to get ready for her upcoming wedding. After that, Lucas visits an elderly man named Carlos to collect payment for previously sold drugs. Carlos explains that business has been slow and he hasn't sold enough fruit, so he needs more time to pay. Feeling sympathetic, Lucas extends the deadline to the following week and urges Carlos to pay soon to avoid Rincon's anger. Back at Rincon's house, a priest arrives to discuss the blessing ceremony for Rincon's sister's wedding. The priest suggests holding the ceremony in a church for a more dignified setting, but Rincon firmly refuses, citing safety concerns. Reluctantly, the priest agrees to conduct the wedding at Rincon's home instead. Meanwhile, Lucas stops by the drug courier's headquarters before taking the money back to Rincon. There, he is shocked to find his younger brother, who proudly announces that he has joined Rincon's gang to work as a drug courier just like Lucas. While his brother is thrilled about it, Lucas is furious. He scolds him and insists he go back to school instead of getting involved in the gang. In another scene, Daniel is at a food truck ordering fast food. Because he can't speak, the ordering process takes longer, and some customers grow impatient. A group of gangsters waiting in line begins to bully him. Despite being a highly trained former soldier, Daniel restrains himself and chooses not to fight back. Daniel quickly leaves the crowded area and heads into a secluded alley as his condition suddenly worsens. He takes out the drugs he bought from Lucas to ease his depression. However, a group of criminals sees him using the illegal substance and tries to rob him. No longer able to hold back his frustration, Daniel fights back fiercely and overpowers his attackers. Meanwhile, Rincon is busy making careful preparations for his sister's wedding. Despite his harsh and violent reputation, he shows deep affection for his sister and is determined to make her happy. The groom and his family arrive at Rincon's house, clearly nervous because of his notoriety as a feared gang leader. As the household bustles with wedding preparations, Lucas arrives to deliver the proceeds from the drug sales. He seems comfortable around Rincon, who has grown fond of him and sees him as intelligent and dependable. Rincon even considers Lucas part of his family. It's then revealed that Lucas's older brother, a former Special Forces soldier, died while trying to protect Lucas from falling deeper into drugs and gang life. Rincon tells Lucas about his deep love for his family, especially his sister, who has a disability. He then entrusts Lucas with an important job, delivering 2 large packages to a contact near a gas station. Rincon stresses that Lucas needs to finish the task quickly so he can return in time to enjoy the wedding. Suddenly, Jester walks in, dragging a man who is behind on his payments. Rincon sternly warns the man to settle his debt immediately. Afterward, Rincon tells Lucas to leave, making it clear that Jester doesn't like having Lucas inside Rincon's home. Jester questions Rincon about why he sent Lucas for such an important delivery instead of him. Jester has always resented Lucas, believing Rincon favored him. Rincon explains that they are under FBI surveillance, and Jester's presence would draw too much attention. By sending Lucas, who is far less likely to be suspected by the agents watching them, Rincon hopes to avoid any complications. At the same time, while heading out to make the delivery, Lucas witnesses his younger brother being beaten by gang members as part of an initiation ritual. Lucas steps in, claiming Rincon told him to stop the assault. He then quickly takes his brother home, intending to bring him to school, even if it means delaying his duties for Rincon. However, Lucas unknowingly dropped one of the packages at home. Just as he and his brother were about to leave, Jester and his crew showed up, accusing Lucas of intentionally disobeying Rincon's orders. They attacked him, but Lucas and his brother managed to escape. During their getaway, they ran into Daniel, who offered them a ride. Jester and his men pursued them on motorcycles, leading to a high-speed chase through the narrow streets. Daniel ultimately managed to outmaneuver and disable Jester's crew. Meanwhile, Rincon's sister's wedding is underway. The celebration is simple but lively, and everyone seems genuinely happy. Back with Lucas, he realizes that one of the packages fell inside Daniel's car, which is now burning. Noticing that only one package remains, he assumes the missing one must have dropped at his house. Elsewhere, Jester quickly reports everything that happened to Rincon. Hearing the news, Rincon becomes visibly upset and disappointed in Lucas, reacting with anger and frustration. Rincon orders Jester and all his men to capture Lucas and his brother without harming them. Meanwhile, Daniel urges Lucas to leave town while he still can. Lucas, however, dismisses Daniel's advice and tells him to stay out of his business. Determined to finish his assignment, Lucas rushes back home to retrieve the missing package, planning to deliver it to Rincon, just as he was instructed. Just after Jester leaves the room, Rincon is approached by Spider, another gang boss who is actually the intended recipient of Lucas's package. Spider asks about the package, which contains a large amount of cash. Meanwhile, when Lucas arrives home, he quickly finds the missing package hidden under his bed. He grabs it and takes off with his brother. However, Lucas's plan falls apart when a so-called friend betrays him and hands him over to Jester and his crew. Meanwhile, when Daniel gets home, he's shocked to find his father-in-law badly beaten by Jester's men who are looking for him. Furious over what happened to his family, Daniel decides to fight back and rescue Lucas and his brother. When he arrives at Rincon's house, Daniel ends up fighting two of Rincon's gang members. Although he struggles at first, memories of Afghanistan fuel his determination. He eventually overpowers one of the men and takes the other hostage. Aware that FBI agents were surveilling Rincon's residence, Daniel used his hostage to provoke the agents into launching an assault on the heavily fortified gangster hideout. This triggered an intense gunfight, resulting in heavy casualties on both Rincon's side and the FBI's. Tragically, amid the chaos, Rincon's sister was killed on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. During the firefight, Daniel was shot in the leg while trying to rescue Lucas and his brother. In the midst of the turmoil, Lucas attempted to escape with his brother, but they soon found themselves cornered by Jester, who held them at gunpoint. At that moment, Rincon arrived and stopped Jester from harming them. He expressed deep disappointment in Lucas, whom he had always treated like a brother. Still, when it came time to kill him, Rincon couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, he ordered Lucas and his brother to leave. This act of mercy enrages Jester, who sees Rincon as weak. Jealous of the attention and care Rincon gave Lucas, despite Jester being Rincon's own nephew, he decides to seize power. In a shocking moment, Jester kills Rincon with a shot to the head. As he turns his attention to Lucas and his brother, Daniel intervenes, offering Jester a package supposedly filled with cash in an attempt to defuse the situation. But when Jester discovers the package is empty, he prepares to kill Daniel. At that critical moment, Jester is shot and killed by one of Lucas's friends, the same friend who had betrayed him earlier. The movie concludes with Lucas and his brother leaving town by train. During the journey, Lucas's brother finds a large amount of cash hidden in his pocket, a final gift from Daniel to help them start a new life in another city. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.